What's up, everyone? It's Doug here with Retro Geek Gaming, bringing you another video discussion. And we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch, as usual. More of a rant video or a concern video, if you will. I don't want to make it seem like I'm bitching or anything, because I'm excited. I'm excited about the Nintendo Switch, and of course we will have to see what comes from it in January. But I do have a little bit of a concern that all that I'm hearing about is ports. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that a port is necessary for a system. I mean, it does help with the library, especially when you need an extra 6 months to a year to maybe release this game and make sure that it's ready. Having that game there is a nice little pack-in. Sort of like what they've been doing with The Legend of Zelda. You know, in order to keep pushing back The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, they've been giving us Twilight Princess HD, Majora's Mask 3D, and etc., to sort of keep the Zelda fans happy. That's just an example of what I'm talking about. So there's nothing wrong with it in moderation, because again, it does help with the library. It does give people something to play. But at the same time, I feel like all it is fluff, because I don't really play ports. I mean, if I want to play The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, I got it right here for the GameCube. I don't need to buy Wind Waker again. You see what I'm saying? Or if they say, hey, how about a Super Mario Sunshine HD remake? Sorry, Nintendo, I already have Super Mario Sunshine. You know? I would rather get a new Mario game. I'd rather get a new Zelda game. I'd rather get a Mario Kart 9 rather than get a Mario Kart 8 with improved online. I barely got online with Mario Kart 8 anyway. I don't really care about it. It seems more fair to me. It's like if you have all these ideas. Okay, this is just an example. I might have touched on this a little bit more in another video. But that is like, okay, we have all these great new character ideas. We have all these great new stages idea for Smash. Let's re-release. No. If you have all these great new characters and all these great new stages, come out with a new Smash Brothers. Come out with Smash Brothers Switch. How about that? Rather than give us the one that we already have for the Wii U and the 3DS, again, just come out with another one. And if you think about it, it wouldn't even be that much of a difference. Would people really even tell? I mean, if you had the same characters in there from the beginning, but they were just hidden. Not DLC that you can buy, but just hidden. And then they threw new characters in there as DLC and they called it Smash Bros. Switch. Would you really even know if that was a port? That's a little bit of what I'm getting at. You could easily just slap Mario Kart 9 on there, come out with the same characters, offer similar DLC with new stages and new characters, and just call it Mario Kart 9 with improved online. You see what I'm saying? It just seems like it's more fair to me. Now, to an extent, I understand that ports are necessary, but it's just a concern of mine when that's all that I see is ports, I guess. You know, is because is this all the system's capable of? It's sort of like what happened with this console generation when it first came out. And I understand when new hardware first comes out, it's very, very difficult to convince people. You know, that's the reason why a lot of the same games come out, like Watch Dogs, Thief, Evil Within, Destiny, stuff like that, also came out for previous gen consoles as well as current gen consoles because of the fact that they wanted people not to feel left behind. But at the same time, you gotta leave it behind, because if all you're doing is taking a bunch of Wii U games and just porting them over to the Switch, all I'm gonna see is this is just another Wii U. All you're doing is giving me Wii U games. They look the exact same, they play the exact same. You're just putting them on a new infrastructure and charging me $60 for it. When I can go off and I can just keep playing Mario Kart 8, I can just keep playing Xenoblade Chronicles X the way that they are now. I'd rather you give me a new Xenoblade Chronicles. I'd rather you give me some new IPs. You know, Luigi's Mansion 3 would be nice. You know, the new Mario is a perfect example. I'd rather play the new Mario than a Sunshine HD remake. Now, I understand again why they're there. I understand why they're there is because, again, it gives people the options. Maybe they loved, you know, Super Mario 3D World, but, you know, some people didn't get a chance to pick it up. Okay, I can understand that. It's sort of like the Splatoon situation where you may have gotten 30 or 40 million people, or however many people you got to play Splatoon, but if it comes out for the Switch, maybe you can get another 50 or 60 million people to play. And now you have 100 million people playing Splatoon. It's a cool thing, but at the same time, I don't know if there's going to be people who necessarily are going to want to spend money on Splatoon again just to play it again when they can just pop in their Wii U and play it. I don't know. It's a concern of mine. Maybe I'm missing something. I've always had an issue with ports because of that. You know? Now, to an extent, it can make sense. Like the Metroid Prime trilogy. It's a perfect example. Taking new technology like the Wii remotes and taking the older games and making them play better. You know, give it a more intuitive interface, easily switch between, you know, weapons and visors and stuff like that on the fly. And you have all three games fitting on one disc, so you can really show off, look, we can fit this much stuff onto a disc. But when you come out with something like, hey, all we're doing is re-releasing the first Darksiders game again, okay, you already managed to fit that on a PS3 disc. You tell me that this is all the PS4 is capable of is PS3 games? You know? And I guess the best example is the one that I like to always use. Which is a better, shining example of what the Xbox One is capable of doing? Playing Thief? Or playing Murdered Soul Suspect? Or playing The Evil Within? Or some other game that also came out for the 360? And so and is therefore hindered because it's going by, you know, the exact same rules as what a 360 played? Or is Quantum Break a good example of what the Xbox One can do? Because look at what it can do. Look at how good this game can look. Look at how realistic it can look. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I want to see out of the Switch. And maybe we'll get those announcements in January when the system is announced. Who knows? But that's what I want to see. I want to see what the system is capable of doing. I want to see how much better it is over the Wii U. Because if all I'm seeing is a bunch of Wii U games and Wii U ports, I have this concern that all people are going to see it as is just another Wii U. Now, to an extent, that works because the Wii U didn't sell that well. So if people see it as a completely new system, and they see, look at all these games, then it works in your favor because you get that new market. And I also think that it will work for Nintendo because you're grabbing the 3DS audience as well. So it's like, look, you can take this system on the go and still be able to play portable quality, console quality games. And it also works out for people like some of my friends that maybe buy one but not the other. So all they gotta do is buy one system, and now they can play it in the same room with me or on the other side of the world. It doesn't really matter. You know, have access to the same games. So it's going to work out great in that regards. I'm just more concerned about the ports. And it really depends upon where they come from. Because if they're releasing port after port after port, then that's fine. If it's a bridge gap, like what they did with the Zelda games, where it's like, you know, we got the Wind Waker HD port, and then a few years later we got Twilight Princess, that's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. You know, releasing one every few months, but I don't know. Time will only tell. I just don't see the point in there being two Smash Brothers. If they really are just going to bring over Smash, they might as well just call it a different game. If they're really just going to bring over Mario Kart 8 and then release Mario Kart 9, that doesn't seem very, very fruitful. Seems like it would be better just to release a Mario Kart 9 and just continue to update it every, you know, like you did with Smash Brothers. Just have it be like, here's new Mario Kart, we're going to support it for the next 3 years. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm just some old school gamer like that. But make sure you put your thoughts down in the comments below about what you think about it. Am I just crazy for thinking that too many ports can hinder a system? But I am still looking forward to the Switch. You know, I keep watching the video over and over again, just imagining it in my hands. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to hear what games are coming. We keep hearing about all these games that are coming over, And to an extent, I can see why it's beneficial, especially games like Skyrim. But at the same time, though, if you come out with too many games that are just, from the last generation, I think it can be a hindrance in a way. Especially when you can just simply do something where it's like, look, if you own the digital versions, they're backwards compatible. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I appreciate you guys watching. I do apologize. I've been busy a lot with work and, of course, the holidays coming up. But I plan to try to bring you more content, and I'd love to hear any suggestions that you have, so you can feel free to follow me on Twitter at RetroGeekGaming and throw some suggestions out there for future videos that you'd like to see me do. Also, like I said earlier, feel free to leave comments down below. Love to hear what you have to say about anything that I talked about or anything that you want to hear me talk about in the future. Like and subscribe if you want, although it's not really necessary. I appreciate it if you watch me this long. And have a good one, guys. Enjoy your holidays, because I probably won't get a chance to speak with you again until next week. So have a good one, guys. See you next time.